In our last video, we bought an absurd amount of stuff for our boat, especially considering she was far from being livable or sailable. And while loading the boat, I unload my phone here. Welcome to Sailing Zoe. We are a family of 4 who bought a salvage catamaran sailboat. We are on a mission to fix it up and sail the world. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, or join our Patreon group, and welcome aboard.
Yeah, it's totally on.
You should probably turn it off though.
Whoa!
The first project is to install our induction oven. It goes well and gives me some misplaced confidence that other projects will go as smooth.
All right, the stove feels definitely secure, and I think we're good to call that project done. Okay, so I've got this section right here.
What I mean is I need to cut out a piece of plywood and laminate that will go over that section of the bulkhead.
Cut this section, but now it's this top part, and it's got all these angles. So what I've done is took all the measurements, all the different measurements, and in order to see if I did it correctly, I've got it all laid out right here. So I'm going to cut this out of cardboard, which is an enlarged version of these measurements. And if that works, I'm going to cut it out in wood. See if this thing lines up. Got these bars in, or like these cardboard reinforcements for rigidity, so I can kind of hold it and won't fall. Well, whoops, it didn't quite work, but it was close. I think round 2 should get it.
I don't get a video of me cutting this section of plywood, but in future videos you'll see me dig into more woodwork.
We just moved into our second condo that we will be here for a month, maybe 2. Trying to get comfortable letting our little boy just swim in the water that is dark and we can't see in the bottom, which I don't love. Used to my clear lakes in Michigan, not this murky water.
This is my best day of my life. I'm going with you. Let's go.
The grandparents are watching the kids as Christy and I take the boat out to test the engines after I'd worked on the cooling system. You may remember an overheating problem when we first moved the boat. Also, I need to test the alternators under power to figure out why we are getting a battery alarm.
We think we've fixed the engines, the overheating, and it appears to be so. We ran grid line through the water coolant system, and that kicked out a lot of gunk, and we're able to run both at full throttle. Oh, here it goes off again. What that could mean is that our alternator is charging, giving either too much or too little charge to our starting batteries. And so I've got to check with the multimeter what level of charge is going to the batteries. The trick is going to be doing it while the engine's hot and not burning myself. So I'm going to use this as insulation.
I don't get any footage of me checking the alternators, but sure enough, the voltage is low and they will need to be replaced.
You're getting closer every time we talk. Oh.
The next day we walk out to find a massive school of dolphins, or is it herd because they're mammals?
You gotta make friends with them.
Either way, we watch them feed, or maybe mate.
All right, I'm down in the engine room and taking the alternator out, just down there, because as I tested it, it was only supplying 4.4 volts, or shooting 4.4 volts to the batteries. It should be supplying between like 13 and 15 volts. So I got to take it off. In the meantime, I was getting electrocuted. All right, 2 alternators successfully out. First one took me 2 hours, shocked multiple times. Second one, 20 minutes, not shocked once. Progress.
We have a storage unit about 45 minutes away, and we're on our way there.
Some bad stuff happens every time we go there. It is cursed by the way I chose to pack this up, which was contrary to Christy's recommendations. And now every time we go there, let's see, she's smirking. Every time we go there, we're reminded by how I did not listen to her. We cannot find what we're looking for. And it is my fault.
Well, and the boxes are not labeled. Flint wanted every box to be a miscellaneous box. Every time a box was half to 3/4 full, you'd be like, okay, so I can just throw whatever else I want on the top of this?
Yeah. So
No, you keep it so that you know where to find the stuff. If it's kitchen, if it's bathroom, if it's a bedroom.
I am confronted by my failure every time we go, and so I'm on edge and a little defensive, little sensitive. How do you feel when you get there?
It adds a ton of stress every time. I get angry.
Anger mixed with shame has created multiple off-camera strong discussions. So it's not that disorganized. People would look at the storage unit and say like, oh wow, that looks pretty organized. It is, except
We also just reorganized it last time we were here.
but the problem is what's in these boxes is disorganized, so we don't know. So I gotta look for my multi-tool.
Miscellaneous, pillows and blankets,
Pillows and
garage
blankets.
sale, G for garage sale, North Carolina, kids' toys.
Like, okay, point made.
Unfortunately, the visit to the storage unit does not go great.
When we moved the boat from Wanchese over here to Belhaven, North Carolina, I fell through the trampoline, which was a blessing in disguise because it happened while we were at anchor. So today we are going to be installing our new trampolines, and I wanted the black because it's not as distracting as the white. You can see through it better. Good morning. Today we're going to install our new trampolines. We soaked them overnight in the bathtub because we wanted them to have extra stretch, so the fabric was going to be more flexible. And now what we're going to do is take some heavy duty zip ties. They can hold 75 pounds a piece, they say. And we're going to zip tie the trampoline on. We'll stretch it that way. So we'll put it up, pull it tight, let it sit, pull it tight for a day or two, and then we'll hook in the lashings. We're going to be doing individual lashings with our line, which will take longer but is much, much safer, because if one breaks, then the whole side of the trampoline doesn't come down. It just, that one spot breaks on it. So we have these little eyelets. We have to slide all those in and across. So once we tie those, this side won't be retightened, and then we're going to go back through and zip tie it off. Is that correct, babe?
Wasn't really paying attention, sorry.
I used a clove hitch to attach the line to the trampoline, and then I just did a knot in the end so it doesn't slip through. Okay, so next I took that piece of line and I brought it under through this D-ring and up and around over the rope. I've done it twice. I'm going to finish the third one, and then I'm going to do 2 half hitches and tie off the end. Went through underneath the D-ring, over the rope 3 times, 2 half hitches, and then I'm just going to tie off this piece here, and then we'll end up cutting off the extra. Whew. That was a solid 8-hour day of tramp work. Okay, so the zip ties worked okay to stretch stuff out, but they all started to bust. So it is day 2 of work on the trampolines, and I ended up tying them with line and then recinching them. Clint had a good idea. He's using a hammer and wrapping the extra string around the handle of the hammer and then using it to pull back with. Day 3 was a little bit of a setback. So the D-rings at the top had scooched together when we tensioned down here on the aft side of the trampoline. So we had to loosen all the lashing, stretch the top, and secure the top, that side and that side. And then I've been going back through and retensioning it so that it stays spread out at the top. Yay, day 4 of trampoline install. And my nemesis. So we have secured the front so it won't scooch in. And now I'm gonna go through and start tensioning stuff. Then I think I'm gonna go through and cut the white tramp off and then go through and do the rest. Here is our nasty old trampoline. The new ones.
Oh. All right, for the next test, we have cleaned out our water tanks with bleach after they were sitting for 3 years. Used some additional tank cleaner. We've changed and put in new filters. And now I'm gonna try the water. That should be enough to determine whether or not I get diarrhea. All right, new problem. Starboard aft bilge pump stopped working yesterday when we put in the water canisters into the water pump system, and that did not hold water, so the engine room filled up with water. And on the same day that the starboard bilge stopped working. I don't think we got a video of that, but now I'm trying to figure out why the bilge stopped working. Here's the bilge pump casing. Here is the actual bilge pump, and this is the grate that goes on the bottom of the casing to filter out all the junk that ends up at the bottom of the bilge. Took the grate off, nothing in here, and then this propeller sits right there and it wasn't turning. So I took this out, was able to slide it out of its casing, and then was able to manually turn this. It was a little gunked up for a bit, but now it's turning fine. So we think when Christy turns on the power, just a second, you ready? Ready. On, off, perfect. All right, so back into the case and we should be good to go.
Next, on to every boater's favorite project.
So I just got done changing out the control panel because the toilet wasn't flushing. And there it is, our toilet. That's not poop stains, I don't think.
3 years of sitting.
3 years of sitting. So we're testing it out. We're gonna test it out with some Gatorade, see how it does. Still a little bit, tiny bit of orange in there. It doesn't flush all the way, like all the water's not going out. We even have some mustard on the one side. All right, so there we go. We got some bread down on the toilet, like a little pooper. Oh, Christy's gonna film. All right, here we go. Is it gonna get sucked down? Is it gonna get sucked down? Is it gonna get sucked down? No, it's staying. It is staying. So I gotta figure out now, although it is flushing, the poop's it would just be floating. So
Don't poop in our toilet.
no, if you got a sinker, I think it'd work. But for floaters, I don't think they'd work. I just called the Santa Maria company, or the distributor, and they said there's always going to be some water at the bottom of the toilet, which basically means you're going to pee on each other's pee a little bit. But I'm going to put this bread in here again. I programmed it so that way I got the maximum amount of water coming in, and that should help the maximum amount of flow happen and hopefully flush this thing. No. So now I am taking apart the old macerator toilet engine, replacing it with the new one. These toilets are not designed to sit for long periods of time. The boat was sitting for 3 years while it was under salvage. And now that we're trying to get it going again, the motor's just not sucking anything out. So it's a matter of rerunning the new electrical lines up here. In order to do that, I gotta move the washing machine to open up the panel to get to the electrical box, to pull out the old lines, attach a rope to it before I do attach the new lines, run it back up, reinstall the panel, the dishwasher, and then start working on the motor again. So, woohoo! New dilemma.
Because the company sent me a slightly different version of the motor,
fittings.
I need to swap some parts
Take
from
those
the
off easy
old
enough.
to the new to make things work.
But down here, I got this kind of fitting. This one screws out. This one, I have no idea how it comes out. Here's another example of it. I don't know, maybe it's not supposed to come out, but I've got to get it out. So they're called ear clamps, and they can't be removed. They have to be cut off. So I'm going to find maybe my Dremel.
Join us next time to see if I get diarrhea, the toilet gets fixed, and things start to get really hard.
Want to quit today?
Like, share, and subscribe.